Good morning, everybody. More than 2 million students receive special education accommodations during the academic year as provided under federal law. And for parents of those kids, getting ready to head back to school does take some extra steps. Here are some recommendations from the National Center for Learning Disabilities. 2 to 3 weeks before school starts, parents should start talking to the child about the new school year in a casual conversation. Parents, they recommend, should also meet with the new teacher to go over the child's paperwork. Don't assume that the teacher has reviewed it in detail before the first day of school. And if the child is in elementary school, they recommend that a play date with a new classmate would be a good idea, or even a play date with students that they already know. And if they're closer to high school or middle school, they say that parents should start talking about options for after-school activities. Joining us with more information is our local expert, Christine Vargas, who has been in special education for more than 30 years, opened the SOAR School for Dyslexia and other learning issues. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Lizette.
Dyslexia is very common, more common than we think. Can you tell us exactly what is happening with the child who has the dyslexia?
Well, children with dyslexia have trouble discriminating the sounds of the language, and they need a very specific program to teach them. It's a sequence program to teach the sounds, the rules of syllabication, the rules of spelling, and it's really important that we do this in a sequential manner because they get frustrated. And once our children with this kind of learning difference gets frustrated, we lose them. It's very hard to get, they're reluctant to read, they're afraid to try, and it becomes an emotional issue as opposed to just a very simple, sometimes not, problem with learning how to read.
Given a certain treatment by the teacher and tutor, they can overcome. They
really can. Some children, when they're brought up in the right kind of program and they get the right kind of help, you'll never know they had dyslexia. It never goes away.
Right.
But children learn to compensate for that, and they're taught to use their strengths, and they overcome it in that way.
So many parents start the school year, so many parents of undiagnosed children with dyslexia start the school year very anxious because they feel that the child doesn't want to go to school and they can't really figure it out. What would you say is the most common sign that perhaps your child should be evaluated for dyslexia?
Well, of course, it's all so individual, but one of the first signs I look for is the frustrational level. When children do not retain the sounds that they've been taught, they seem to know them one day but not the next, that's a sign that they're not retaining. There's a hierarchy of skill in auditory processing, and it's very difficult for a parent to discriminate that, and an evaluation by a specialist really is called for if they have a suspicion. And it doesn't hurt, because an educational evaluation for a child, it's kind of like going to the dentist. You get important information you need about your child's learning style.
It's better to know. It arms you with information that you can use to help your child.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate all the information. We will certainly continue this important conversation on Facebook. For you to learn more, you can visit the National Center for Learning Disabilities website at understood.org. They've got a parent toolkit, and also you can contact the SOAR School in Palm Harbor. Thanks for watching, everybody.